Ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and in between, please be aware that this campaign is set in a dark and twisted world. There are monsters and creatures from beyond the abyss. There are subjects that may be considered quite triggering, may not be suitable for people of a sensitive nature. Thank you.
We see a dark cavern. A stream of light punches its way through the ceiling, illuminating the twisted branches of an old, gnarled, petrified tree. In the distance, the roar of far-off waves of the roiling ocean can be heard, and the shadows around the edges of the clearing and cast by the great ash tree seem to watch the crown that lays between the gnarled old roots with bated breath. Abandoned on the ground, the circlet of metal vines and living thorns has come to rest in a small patch of moonlight. Within the tree, the heart has long since gone silent. Tentatively, two pale, translucent hands reach for the crown. Upon touching the circlet, however, the girl with the red hair jerks back with a pained hiss, looking down to see her hands crack at the fingertips as though they were cheap porcelain. Looking up, she gives a cry of fear and staggers back when she sees the girl with the curly brunette hair, blood-stained dress, and cruel smile standing before her. "Oh, Alice, when will you learn?" the brunette girl says softly, before picking up the crown with ease and setting it atop her curls. "There is nothing more to be learned in this place than past horrors. Your family saw to that," Alice snaps back, drifting behind the body of the tree as though to hide herself. "Oh, I agree. This island is spent, it's a shell. But you see, Alice, I no longer have any need of it. I do so hope you enjoy your position as Eternal Guardian." And then the brunette walks away, down the cave towards the ocean without a backward glance, the shadows gathering around her in a dark mantle that embraces her form, and the cloak hides her from view. Left in her wake, Alice and her tree weep tears of blood. We follow the sounds of these soundless footsteps as the young woman makes her way down towards the docks. Of her, we join our Thursday's children. Dagmar, carrying the body of Lord Wenzel Armstrong, barely clinging to life, steps with Johann onto the docks where the merman waits under patient stars in the water, about 20 feet back from the docks. Moments later, Astrid and Maya joined them.
I see you've made it.
Though we have. Have you spoken yet?
I think the word is up to Fishface over there.
Have you entertained the thought at all?
The thought of... I made up my mind.
Would you like to share with us?
No.
So be it.
Maya, as you're walking, could you roll me a logic or an empathy roll, please?
Two successes.
As you move forward with your compatriots to head out of the cavern and towards where the rocky outcrop once again meets the wood of the dock, you step into a patch of shadow. It's colder than the others. And you step out of it and think how odd that was. The next patch of shadow is the same. This time, you feel the cold caress of chill fingertips trace down the back of your spine. But then it seems to reach a certain point, and before it can touch you, you hear a hiss as something sharply pulls its hand away.
How peculiar. May I turn around?
May. You do not see anything, but you do note the shadows of this cavern appear almost supernaturally dark. Even under the moonlight, it shouldn't be as pitch black as this.
And so the shadows contain secrets then. Friends, if you tread with me, I believe we be wary of the shadows here.
All right.
Sir, or other, I believe we have brought he whom you sought.
You see the merman who has been sort of idly singing to himself a lilting lullaby about 20 feet back from the docks or so, just sort of staring at the stars. He's been pointedly ignoring you. But as you go to talk to him, he does turn to you and smile. So I see. Well done. Not all of you seem convinced, however, of your plan.
How do you feel you are any better? Give one reason why I should give him up to you. You're just as bad, if not worse.
I am a creature of contract, obligation. When a deal is struck with me, I am just as bound to it as the person who strikes the deal. For any of us to be free, the deal requires satisfaction. As with all things in nature, equilibrium must be reached. However, if you wish for me to prove that I know, I do not bear ill will towards you. I perhaps know one way, but I will need to borrow your eyes. And he turns to you, Johan. There is something I can show you that will fill in a gap. Something you've long wondered.
I'm interested.
I will require your permission.
I don't know if you should trust him, Johan.
You know, I think you might be onto something, Dagmar. I'm not 100%. I'm willing to trust somebody who was trying to sacrifice one of my friend's parents. All right, it just doesn't seem like the move. So I think I'm gonna have to respectfully decline.
But Johan, were you not before interested in speaking and parleying with this entity? And if this is the method by which they speak?
Who I think needs to speak is Dagmar's pops over here and good old fish face over here. I think they need to have a nice long chat, and maybe they can find some middle ground here. I think that's the biggest issue here, you know? And that's where I'm at.
Unfortunately, all words I have to say to that man are long done. There is nothing left more now than the contract, and I do not think he will have many words for me anyway. That was not my doing.
What was your doing is that you willingly took all these sacrifices for years.
Indeed, I did.
What do you
Because
have to say for yourself?
They made a deal with me. They chose the nature of the sacrifice.
I see, so no morals whatsoever, just deals. At least this man was a good man once.
I am not one of you. Well, he turns to Maya slightly. I am not bound by the laws as most of you are. Your organization, I have heard that it understood this, that it worked to understand them, yet you do not seem interested in doing so.
This vision that you would share with Johan, could I be the recipient of it and share with them?
Unfortunately not. It requires a memory. You see, I will not be granting anything that Johan does not already possess. Johan, you have the memory already within your mind. You do not have it from the correct perspective.
What are you talking about?
I have seen you before.
I think I remember a face like that. I don't forget a face. Come on, you know?
In your defense, you were slightly preoccupied.
How do I know what you're going to show me is even a real thing? I don't know, guys. This seems a little like, you know, off the wall to me. I don't know.
If you choose to believe, that is up to you. If you choose to disbelieve your own memory, I cannot change your mind.
All right, strike a deal. If that's the way you work, strike a deal. So we know you have to stick to it.
All right. For that to work, Johan will need to offer me something. I am offering this freely.
Guys, I don't have a lot. I lost my shoes. I'm down bad right now. Like, I don't
There must be something, like... Honestly, I don't know what merman could even use, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if we can't like pastry, they just like melt in the water. Like, what do we,
I would settle for a lock of your hair.
Who? I mean, that's kind of...
If you have nothing else to offer.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right, guys?
Yes.
Maya, you don't seem convinced.
I believe a lock of hair seems to be the lightest of gifts into a deal. If I am honest, Johan. Is life but not a series of risks?
Do you know how long it takes me to do my hair? All right, anyway, you know what? Fine. I will give you a lock of my hair, and in return, Dagmar.
I don't know, you get what he offers, a memory, a knowledge, I don't know.
That's weird, right? Astrid?
In return, you gain assurance of the truth of what you receive.
And safety.
Yeah, what they said.
Is a deal
Interesting.
struck?
If you would.
Oh, goodness gracious, guys. There you go.
So you sort of let it float into the water. You notice how there's a ripple in the bioluminescent glow that is held within this cathedral-like sheltered cove. And a webbed, tiny hand sort of reaches up from the water, takes the lock of hair and pulls it down. The merman hasn't moved a muscle. He then turns his full attention to you, Johan. And there's a ringing in your ears, like tinnitus, just sort of beginning right at the very core of you. And that's when you feel your grip on reality begin to loosen. Everything seems to morph and shift. And then you feel yourself lose the floor. Once again, you're underwater. You're sinking. Above you, a large oaken form cuts through the water's surface. And then there's a terrible boom that sends shockwaves through the ocean, and the red, white, yellow flower of a huge, noiseless explosion blooming above you, shattering the boat into disparate pieces as the powder magazine erupts. You see a distant form with huge teeth and dorsal fin that more resembles a mane wind through the water, massive, hulking, 3-4 times bigger than the ship, and for a moment you're not sure whether death by drowning or death by that thing is preferable. Normally, Johan, this is where the memory ends. Normally, you wake up on the shore, half drowned but alive, and your story continues. You venture back to the army, you tell them your story, and they dismiss you for madness. But not this time. Now, you watch from beside your body, floating in the water, as a live form, a familiar form, with the upper body of a young man wreathed in long dark hair and the lower body of a long, elegant tail appears from the depths. Swimming quickly, he takes your unconscious form in his arms and pulls you towards the shore, depositing you on the beach and then swimming away. As you go to emerge from the vision, there's a liminal space in between where something tastes like ozone and potential. Something is calling to you. You can either make me a logical empathy roll to resist the effect, or you can heed the call and follow the voice. What do you choose?
I follow the voice.
You follow. You feel yourself surrounded by that water again, fills your lungs, but this time it's not uncomfortable. It seems right somehow. You breathe in, and it's like taking the air on a crisp winter morning as the scene of the docks comes back to you all in a rush. Once again, you're stood amongst your friends. But something feels different. As you look over to the water, you feel a connection to it that wasn't there before. A realization. The completion of a memory.
Okay. That was a lot. That was...
Are you alright? What happened?
Oh, man. I get it. I absolutely get it. I know what's in that water. And I think it needs more than one pastry.
What is it?
There is a large creature that actually sank one of my ships back in the day. And that specific thing completely changed the entire course of my life. Wow. Hey, Gillface, what was the point of even showing me that?
To show you that I am not here to cause you harm. I have saved you once before. It should not be hard for me to do it again. And to put your mind at ease, the entity here, and he looks down and sort of gestures to the sort of thick trunk-like appendages that are coiling and uncoiling around the docks, laying along the edge of the cove. The entity here is not the one that sunk your vessel. They are, however, my friend.
Are they friends with the guy that did sink the... Because, I mean, if so, then, like, you need to pick better friends, because, like, you know...
Not particularly, no.
Okay. So they have hair, and I got the vision, and not gonna lie to you, thanks, I think, for piecing it all together. I'm caught up now. That was weird. Also, thanks. Did me a solid. With that being said, this guy back here, still don't think you should have him. That's kind of a life you're taking there. Separate situation entirely. But again, thank you. You're a good person, I guess, you know. But at the same time, it just can't happen. It's separate, you know.
A conundrum then.
A little bit.
Still. If I cannot convince you, then I cannot convince you. If you wish to deny the deal being resolved, that is your own prerogative. But as it stands, I can only save one of you.
Okay.
Are we able to renegotiate, friend?
What is it you want, little one?
I would like to grant safe passage for my friends. Perhaps for the being that Dagmar also would like to keep upon her shoulders. What could I offer to grant them safe passage?
Unfortunately, the making of one deal does not negate the making of another. I cannot simply wipe one away.
Of course not. It's not the way. It's not how the world works. Is there a way to bargain? change out his life for another?
No, little one. You would also have to carry the weight of what this man has done. What he has sent so many to. I would not ask anyone to take that on.
What you did. He gave him to you.
Yes, Dagmar.
What they did.
He gave them. He gave
Yes.
them. How can you remain so blind?
How can you remain so blind to the thing that's standing in front of us and hides behind it was a deal? Like that makes it okay?
Dagmar, as you're talking, you see on the ground next to you something catch your eye. It's a flicker of shadow. Something reaching. And then something appears out of that shadow. It wasn't there and then it is, all at once. Something metallic rolling along the ground. Slowly and deliberately, it comes to rest at your feet. It's a crown. Crown of metallic vines and ivy. And it just stops at your feet.
Dagmar kind of like very slowly, carefully shifts her foot in front of it, kind of trying to like, well, I wanted to say sleight of hand, but sleight of foot, like, you know, hide it behind her leg and like try to like wiggle it in a position where she could grab it easily and nobody can see it.
What I will say is that your friends have almost definitely noticed that it was quite loud.
All right. In that case, she just grabs it, like holds on to Venzel with one hand and grabs it.
As you take it in your hand, it's cold. It's so cold, but it's almost comforting. You feel a looming presence directly behind you. A cold hand creep up to rest on your shoulder. Then you feel something leaning close. Brush of light, springy curled hair against your skin. And the voice says, "You want answers. You want power. Take back control, Dagmar. Don what is rightfully yours." Dagmar, you feel a sudden urge to put on the crown. You can either make me a logic and empathy roll to resist putting it on, or you can choose to give in.
I think Dagmar is definitely intrigued and wants to, but wants to hold off until she knows what this situation is. So I think I'm gonna roll.
Make me a roll. Logic or empathy. Whatever you choose.
One success.
For a moment, the vision in front of you flickers. Blinks almost, in and out. In and out. You see your friends, and then nothing. Your friends, a long hall. Your friends, darkness, candlelight. And then you're in this room. A long, long hallway. Dark, candlelit, hooded figures standing beside ornate chairs in front of a laden banquet table. Dagmar, you are stood beside a figure. As you turn to face each other, you see a young woman with long brunette curls in a white shift dress crowned in ivy and holding wildflowers. She smiles at you, reaches down to pick something up from the stone slab you both stand beside, and hands it to you. It's a knife, a long, skinny, cruel ritual blade, Then slowly, she picks you by the shoulders and turns you to look at the slab as you see a young girl with starlight hair laid out on top of it. Once again, she leans in close to your ear and she says, "Do it. Free us." The figure behind you is whispering and tracing her fingers down your arm until she takes your hand, guiding the knife to find its mark in the chest of the girl on the slab. Since you rolled a success on your check, you are in full control of your actions. What is it you do?
I look at the knife in my hand and over to the girl. Is it somebody I recognize?
Oddly, yes. Although you've not really seen her in color before. For a moment, you're shocked. You're like, no, it can't be. And then your hand goes to your necklace. And you know exactly who she is. She's who you've been seeing on the walls.
How does she look? Does she look distressed or?
In fact, she looks happy to see you. She's smiling, pleasant. She has these cherubic cheeks and a dazzling smile. These eyes that seem to glimmer with happiness at seeing you finally here. It's almost like she's been waiting for you. What is it, dear one?
Dagmar throws the knife to the other side of the room, and she tries to go over to the girl and like take her off of the block, like say, "Come on, this is not."
As you go over to her, she remains there, and even as you try and pull her up, she snatches her arm away from you. Says, "No, it's okay. It's okay. This is what needs to be done."
Why?
Okay. Sacrifices must be made. And she lies back down on the slab.
Who are you? I turn both to the girl on the slab and back to the woman with the brunette curls. Who are you? What do you want with me?
We want you to stop fighting what is rightfully yours. Too long you've been running. Step up. Take your position. You want the ability to control the situations you're in. You want the ability to protect the ones you care about. With my help, you can. You just have to make one hard choice. I'm still waiting to see if you're strong enough to do that.
Dagmar goes to pick up the knife again. You know what? Fine. And she stabs the girl on the altar, and not only that, she then tries to stab at the woman with the curls.
You stab into the chest of this starlight-haired girl. Viper fast. You bring the knife down. Again and again. In this moment, you know what you need, and it's in her chest. You stab again and again until it concaves before you. You dig your hand into it. You rip out her still beating heart. Before you understand what you're doing, you bite down. And then dropping the heart to the ground, you swivel and plunge the knife into this woman's chest. This woman, this girl, crowned in her ivy, smiling at you. Her smile doesn't drop for a second. She grabs your hand, holding the knife, and then she gently, ever so gently, grabs your hand with both of her hands, and she presses the knife further into her own abdomen, bringing her forehead to yours, and giving you a gentle kiss, right between your eyes. In that moment, your vision fades to black. As you come back to yourself, you hear a laughter reverberate around your mind as the dockside scene fades back in. You feel different. You feel cold, but you feel filled with purpose.
Is there a time during this? Is there a pause, a moment where Dagmar seems lost or frozen?
There absolutely is. As you watch her rest this crown upon her head, she stiffens, much like you saw Maya do before, goes rigid. And then those tears of blood begin trickling down her eyes. And then at some point, about 2 seconds after they start falling, they stop and retreat. And then it's like they were never there.
The moment that Astrid sees Dagmar put on the crown and start to freeze, she's going to dart forward, try to tug the man from Dagmar's shoulders and move him, try to toss him to the waters.
Okay. In this moment, I'm going to need you to make me a physique and let me take a quick look at what we're dealing with here for you. I think I would like you to roll your physique and your agility.
I don't know how quick Dagmar will be back, but the moment she is back, she's obviously gonna try and oppose that.
Of course.
One
Yes.
success.
One success, I see. Astrid, this isn't particularly difficult to do. He cannot resist you. He is stick and bone. He weighs little more than a couple of pounds of sugar wrapped in a spider web. You pull him from Dagmar, and you get perhaps 10 feet, dragging him away from her towards the docks. You're about halfway there. Johan and Maya, are you doing anything as you see this?
Yes, I'm absolutely stopping him. Freaking Astrid, sorry.
Okay. I would like you to make me the physique and force roll, please. Astrid, if you would like to oppose this, I will ask you to make your precision and stealth to try and slip out of the way.
Also one success.
One success for you.
2 successes.
I see. Johan, as you lunge for Astrid, she's too quick. For an older scholar, she's quite spry. And especially in this moment, you go to lunge and you overshoot massively. she manages to dart around you and head towards the docks. Maya, if you would like to do something, you can.
I would like to try and tumble my feet towards Astrid in motions to try and stop her without physical confrontation. Astrid, I don't... This is a decision Dagmar must make. This is not for us to make. We made the deal, yes, but this is still a choice that is being made here. We cannot take advantage of Dagmar clearly taking a wander through the dreams to our advantage. We are a team, are we not?
I'm sorry, Maya, but we all survive this.
We can, but Dagmar should really be part of this conversation.
Dagmar, in that moment, you come back to yourself.
No, and then she like runs over and like also tries to like grab Fenzel back from Astrid.
Okay, I will need you to make your physique and force roll.
Physique and force.
Astrid, the same roll for you, please, to oppose this.
The precision stealth.
Yep.
1 success.
1 success for me.
Okay.
Oh no, 0 success, sorry.
0 successes, I see. Dagmar, once again, you try to lunge for Astrid, but Astrid, having dodged Johann's attempt to grab, you are fast enough to dodge. You are close enough to the water now that you can throw him in.
Am I able to push my luck on this?
If you would like to, you certainly can.
I would like to, yes. Now I have 2 successes.
2 successes. Astrid, as you get closer to the water, you are close enough to do the deed. And you feel yourself perhaps becoming more hopeful. Perhaps there's a grim resolution that settles in your soul. But Dagmar, you see your opening. Astrid has turned slightly away from you, and you are able to lunge. You grab Wenzel around the waist and yank him back.
No!
Now, because you succeeded a roll, not just by 1, but by 2, you have not damaged Wenzel's body any further. But you are aware that the longer this tussle keeps going on, the more danger he's in.
Yes.
Friends, we need to resolve this, not through confrontation.
I'm assuming that Astrid is quite close to the ground, like dragging the body towards the water, or before at least.
She kind of had, I imagine she sort of had him over a shoulder, but I will invite Astrid to tell us how she was going about this.
Having retrieved the body, Astrid would be walking backwards, dragging the body along the ground, gripping it from under the shoulders, under the armpits.
Dagmar, like, shoves Fenzel to her back so that Astrid can't reach, and pushes Astrid down, not into the water, but just on the ground. And she grabs her dagger and points it at Astrid and says, "I told you to trust me." And she lifts her arm and flings it at the fishman.
Please make me your precision and your ranged combat roll.
Precision. All right. Damn it. I think I missed. No success.
Unfortunately, the dagger goes wide. But as you go to make this aggressive action towards this individual, he sort of dances to the side to avoid the blade. And then his eyes sort of narrow at you. He looks disappointed. And at that moment, the ocean seems to shift all at once, as though it were a cup held by a giant. It moves to one side and then the other, as thick trunk-like appendages led along the bottom of this cove begin to move. Then, outside the cove, where the cliffs give way to the wider waters beyond, an almighty groan can be heard that rattles your skulls and causes your eardrums to ache with sudden agony. Below the water, you see a deep red glow join the blue. And then with the rumble and a shifting of earth, an island begins to emerge. Flat, huge, rounded, it rises out of the water and then it keeps going. Moments later, 2 huge eyes emerge, glowing red and lidded with folds of thick, seal-like skin, huge tentacles breaching the surface and shooting up as tall as the cliffs, waving back and forth. Johan, whilst you've not seen one of these in person before, you've heard enough stories to know what it is called. This is a kraken. The tentacles, already in the cove, rise up. At their skinniest, they are as thick as tree trunks, forming dark bridges that loop in and out of the water. As it begins to rise, the merman just shakes his head sadly and places a hand on one of the tentacles. As he does this, the creature stops moving.
We need to make the choice now. What do you want to do, Dagmar? It is clear how this will end.
Dagmar, grabs Venzel again, as, probably really weak. And walks over to the water. And very, very, very gently lifts him in and tries to wake him up, try to just speak to him.
He, in response to your coaxing and the sea spray flicking at his face, seems to come to. And as he does, his coat sort of shifts slightly. All of you, please make me a logic and vigilance roll.
Two successes.
No successes.
No successes
either.
Astrid, as Dagmar goes to the end of the pier and begins to lower the body into the water, you see on his person the glint of something metal and sharp. And you see his hand going towards it.
Dagmar, watch out! Astrid lunges toward them.
As you go to lunge, suddenly a shift, sudden and tumultuous in the air, a breath on the back of your neck, warm like a summer breeze. Unobtrusive and light, but there. In your periphery, you get a glimpse of distinctive red hair, and then in your ear, you hear a voice, scared and determined, say, "Let me help you." You can choose to resist this effect and make me a logic or empathy roll to do so, or you can accept its help.
Astrid wants to save Dagmar. She accepts the help.
As you give in to this voice, The smell of pine hits you first. And you are not where you were. You awake into a library, but something's not quite right. There are shelves and books, twisting corridors that lead you deeper into the stacks, but the shelves are the natural twisting form of trees. And there are vines hanging from them that twist into braided patterns that form half-covered veils over some of the books. At the end of the corridor of trees, both dead and alive, you see red hair and a torn cardigan. She turns and smiles at you, waves you forward. Come on.
Alice?
Yes, it's me. She takes your hand carefully as you head towards her. Her skin is covered by patches of oak and bark, but it's warm to the touch. And there are sprigs of wildflowers growing in her hair from thick vines coiling around her skull. Alice sighs, looking at you mournfully for a long moment. Then she simply says, "Remember me," and places a hand that is slowly being encased in crawling vines upon your head. "I can give you the answers to 3 questions freely. I know you have many. Ask."
Are we all able to find a way to leave alive?
He's telling the truth.
How did they find us?
It's the Lord. He always knew. He knew. He was searching for her. For Dagmar. And he found her, and he found you. I don't know who's holding his strings, but someone is. And they killed me.
I know, I'm sorry, Alice. I'm sorry we were too late to come and help.
It's okay. 2 more questions, go. 1 more, sorry. Gosh. Hurry.
If we leave here, where can we go to be safe? Where can we hide?
There are friends. There are friends coming. I was to meet them. There will be a safe house for you. A house in Stockholm. It's called Skockloster. You will find haven there. You must go to the Abbey first, on the mainland. Friends are there.
Alice, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
Thank you.
It's not your fault. I'm just so glad you came. I was so alone. Don't forget me.
Never, never.
She gives you a big hug. And as she enfolds her arms around you, the docks swim back into view, and you can hear a comforting voice beside you and smell that familiar scent of pine and old books close at hand. And she says, "Go." And then you lunge. Please make me your physique and actually, let's say precision here. Your precision and your stealth once more, but this time add an additional dice for Alice's help.
1 success.
1 success is enough. Dagmar, as you're lowering this body into the water, you're too wrapped up in this ceremony, in trying to get him to awake, that you don't see the danger.
I'm still trying to talk to him. Yeah.
His eyes are locked on yours, but he's not saying anything. And you're thinking, that's weird. Why isn't he talking? Why isn't he saying anything? And then you feel Astrid rush up beside you. You see her hand reach out and grab. She snatches the hilt of a blade that he was going for and had his hand on and pulls it from his grasp.
You were going to kill me?
He stares at you and shakes his head and just says, I'll always do what is needed. You'll learn that in time.
Yeah, I think I've learned it. I'm sorry. I love you. And I let go.
As you let go, you feel his body spiderweb light. It's nothing to him at this point. It's just bone. And even that, you imagine, is hollow, like a sparrow. He floats on the water, and it seems to draw him out, almost like he's being carried in a carriage on the waves. The merman approaches slowly and carefully. His eyes are on you, Dagmar, as he does so. As Wenzel floats, you can see him struggling and fighting down to the last minute. You see him try to spit out some defiant words at this creature that soon reaches him and looms above him. But as he does so, the merman begins to sing. It's that lullaby again. Quiet this time, more reverent. There's no rage in there anymore, just duty. You see Wenzel stop dead as the singing begins, and the words are snatched from his mouth. He gapes, and tears begin to fall from the corners of his eyes, streaming down his face and clearing streaks of his skin of dirt and neglect. Unmoving, he doesn't fight back as the merman gently takes him by the hand and pulls him under the water, gently cradling him in his arms. He moves back, and you watch as just under the surface, he moves to almost the edge of the cove, rising again once he reaches the deep water. Then you see, all under the eyes of this ginormous kraken, as 3 more mer creatures appear in front of the merman. They seem humanoid, put together, the same long dark hair. The merman lets go of Wenzel, as though letting go of a dance partner, and the body drifts out on the waves towards them. In unison, each of them wraps a long, slender hand around Wenzel's body, and together they disappear, taking the Lord down with them into the depths.
I'm sorry, Dagmar.
I know. Dagmar just stays there, staring at the water.
In this moment of stillness, the singing has continued, and as it echoes around this cathedral-like chamber, the blue and green glow of the water refracts and reflects off the walls, making almost a beautiful tribute as the stars pepper the night sky ahead, lowered like ladies' skirts over the lands. You see a mist and a cloud begin to gather on the horizon line, but something is keeping it at bay, preserving this moment as a quiet and still moment of reflection. Maya, as you stand here with your friends, taking this all in, you feel something odd. Something against the back of your hand. It's the feeling of resting your hand on a pine-covered forest floor, but it shifts and moves before gently wrapping itself around your palm and taking your hand. You feel it call to something within you, something at the core of yourself. You can choose to resist the call. You may make me a logic or empathy roll to resist, or you can choose to listen.
The wind does make music. I would like to follow this call.
Maya, as you blink, you see nothing when you open your eyes. For a second, it's dark. So dark. You close your eyes again, tight shut, and open it again, looking around to see if your eyes have adjusted any. And you see a tunnel. A familiar tunnel. A deep, dark well interior, dripping with lichen and crystalline water. You're not alone either. Behind you, you feel a presence. Something dark, yes, but also something warm and sun-dappled, like morning light through the trees. Something that's patient. Something that's been waiting.
So we meet. I would like to take a couple more steps further, if there is any room to move. Why is it always so dark and damp here? I would like to turn around and finally face what is behind me this time.
As you turn around, you see that the tunnel has something else to it. At the very back, there's a break in the darkness where sunlight streams in, carrying dust motes and tiny dandelion puffs that swim in the air. Behind you, as you turn around and see them, are two figures. One is tall, willowy, familiar, with bark for skin and flowering vines for hair, the creature you made your deal with all those years ago. The other is shorter, slender, her long red hair matted with blood and her thick-knit cardigan torn and dirty, but there are patches of bark that are forming across her skin, sprigs of bracken growing upon her head and budding with tiny red flowers. The shorter one holds out her hand towards you with a gentle smile, and the taller figure of the ash tree wife steps respectfully behind her.
What do you both want?
It isn't what we want. You have a choice to make, Maya.
What is the choice?
You have lived your life believing you are one thing when you are in fact another. You are of the land, Maya. You're one of us. But you are enough human. But you can also choose not to be.
But what kind of life would it be to be full when I have lived my life as I am?
You are not incomplete, Maya. You are just searching. You are searching for perhaps something that is not gone, but hidden. shrouded. What you are is at your fingertips. What you are is who you are. But in order for you to be truly connected to that, you must choose to embrace it. You cannot stumble blindly into the green. You must step with purpose.
Perhaps it is time to cross that bridge. And allow the lands to open up to me. And let the winds tussle my hair. And let the ground beat against my feet. Perhaps you are right, it is time. For the answers. For the path. To be that bit more clearer. I will guide me, will you?
You will never dance alone, Maya.
What music that is to the ears. I would like to take the hand.
As you take her hand, you see the other creature, the taller one, nod at you and step back. They meld with a shadow and are gone, leaving you with this odd, dark-skinned version of the corpse you met below the island of Alice. She takes your hand and steps closer, leaning her forehead against yours. Help them. A warmth spreads through your limbs as she says this. You awaken back into the scene at the docks. As you come to, a voice echoes in your head that just says, "Welcome back to the green, changeling. We've missed you."
Okay. Okay, right. Friends,
Yes, Maya.
we will find the path. We will. The path will open beneath us. We will follow it. There is a way. For the trees do not dance alone.
As you all watch Maya say this, you note how she seems more ethereal than normal. She seems to almost glide. When she steps lightly, like she weighs nothing. In her hair, tiny sprigs of wildflowers are blooming. Her face seems more defined somehow. She seems taller. And there's almost a glow that emanates from the very core of her being.
Maya, when you say this, I cannot help but believe you.
Right, friends. We need to mend the energies amongst us. This journey has been filled with sacrifices. This journey has also grown us. I truly believe that although a snail shell may be broken, a snail can mend itself, and like that, there must be a way that we can regain the warmth that was once amongst us, to go forth in this journey together. Dagmar, Astrid, even you, Johan. How do we mend this before we venture forth?
All right. I recommended a while ago a sparring match between these two, and I think it should still happen. Just I put that pin in it. The pin might be able to come out now. It's got a little bit of I think bonding between fists. Good training session. Great exercise.
You cannot be serious, Johan.
Why not? I do it all the time. I mean, if you guys have a better way, that's fine. But, I'm just saying it's never failed me. So,
And on that note, with Johan loudly proclaiming his very well thought out plan, I think we can all agree, to the oceans. In this introspective moment with our Thursday's children, standing on the docks of Retta Island, contemplating their next move, having awakened some things about themselves previously hidden, we will take our break. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined us so far. There's plenty more to come. Don't go anywhere. Here on Retta Island, things are very rarely as they seem. Indeed, this is the case with so many places in the Mythic North. But here especially holds significance for our Thursday's children, as once again we join them standing on a dock in a hidden cove on an abandoned industrial island. Above, the stars wheel, the water glowing blue and heavy with the recent sacrifice that has begun to it. At the entrance of the cove, a huge entity looms large, the Kraken. Its red glowing eyes making the lights dance, and the shadows weave in and around these cathedral-like cliffs. And at the beginning of where the cove enters the rest of the ocean, the merman, with whom this entire deal has been started, makes his way back towards you as you stand at the docks. He looks at all of you in turn, and then turns back to the entity at the beginning of the cove and raises up a hand and then lowers it. Gently, carefully, as though trying not to knock anything over. This colossal being begins to retreat once more beneath the waves. It takes entire minutes for it to be fully gone. And the tentacles you saw led on the base of this hidden cove also retreat, slipping out of the hidden cove back into the deep water until they soundlessly disappear with nothing more than a stray bubble. And the merman sighs and turns back to you all. Now, I believe that I said to one of you when we first met, should this deal be concluded, I will owe you a name. I believe you've more than earned that. You may call me Fulminare. It is what people such as yourselves have previously known me by.
Can you spell that? Just. Okay.
I will write it for you, Johan. Thank you, Fulminare, for this gesture and the honorable way you have treated us.
You are welcome. I believe I also owe you one more thing. Passage off of this place. I will indeed grant this. However, if there is anything else you wish to do here, I suggest you take care of it. This island may not be here within short order.
Actually, Dagmar, Johan, as we were following after you, Maya and I, we passed these bowls of colored light, and they had objects within. I'm sure you saw them as well.
Yes.
I do not know if you stopped to observe them, but both Maya and myself found objects there that are somehow, strangely, deeply connected to us. Did you find such objects yourselves in those bowls?
I mean, we saw them. We were on a mission, dying guy in the back, transaction, trying to fight fate and all that. So we didn't really stop because it looked super complicated and we were on a timeline. But we saw them. Why are you bringing them up exactly? Should we go back? Maybe.
I suspect it may help us to understand better how we were discovered to begin with, and if we are lucky, prevent such a thing as we leave this place. I do not wish to be running all my life, and I am sure you are the same.
All right. I don't remember recognizing anything, but to be fair, I wasn't paying attention to it all that much.
Yes. Dagmar, I am sorry for not trusting you. I only wish to see you live.
Dagmar carefully walks closer to Astrid and hugs her around the waist. And then let's go and walks towards the direction of the other room.
Understood. You are able to walk back and retrace your steps through the cavern, heading back into its depths. Now, Dagmar, you didn't take the left passage. You're not sure what's down there, but you are able to blaze on ahead towards where the artifacts were in those odd glowing pools, casting that rainbow light. And as you enter, you once again see it. Pond-like holes in the floor, little bigger than the circumference of small buckets in diameter, lit up by individually coloured lights, fueled by tiny glowing gemstones, upon which an artifact sits. On the red, there is a small chalice, cut in half down the middle, that lays in two halves, flat on the stone like a dissected creature. On the orange, there is a small skull, within which is another skull. On the yellow, there is a dark lock of hair tied up with ribbon. On the purple, a small black gem about the size of a fingernail. The blue, a small patch of iridescent scales. And green, a metallic coin, which I believe is now gone.
Are you saying that one of these things belongs to me, Astrid?
Perhaps not belongs. Maya seemed to recognize those skulls there, and this coin was in this green bowl, and, it is very old, far older than I, but it is from my homeland. It may not be something you owned, but perhaps something you find you have a connection with.
Dagmar really tries to look at each item and see if like anything sparks any sort of recognition for her.
Johan and Dagmar both. Please make me your empathy and observation rolls.
No successes.
None either.
As you each, in turn, go to look at each of these items, they're odd, granted. Very odd. Especially the skull. It seems like it should have aged far more than it has, but it seems almost like a freshly cleaned kill. But the rest of it just seems like odd, eclectic junk, in all honesty. I'm not entirely sure what significance any of it has.
Anything strike you?
No. Not yet, anyway. Dagmar wants to, like, touch every single item. Like, clearly, after what happened with the crown, she's starting to think, like, oh, maybe I need to just poke at everything.
Okay, understood. Please make me, once again, your empathy and your observation. Or actually, let's go empathy manipulation, since you're actively trying to make something happen here.
All right. Empathy and manipulation.
And you do have an additional dot now in your manipulation.
I was checking. 2 successes.
Fantastic. As you go around and sort of dip your hand into each of these pools and pulling out the items one by one. The chalice seems like it carries a feeling with it. It in itself is not particularly remarkable, but the fact that it's cut in half catches your eye. Split perfectly down the middle, as though by a hot blade. It carries anger with it. The small skull seems to carry a sense of almost logic, precision, hunter-like focus. The yellow carries hints of something ancient, something dark. What's interesting is as you pick up the lock of dark hair, you notice the way it naturally curls. You know exactly who this hair belongs to.
Well, I guess I don't know their name, but I think I did just stab them.
Dagmar, make me a logic or an empathy roll of your choice.
Empathy. Nothing again. I guess I'm too emotional.
You once again feel cold hands rise up and over your shoulders. And something leans in, and the voice of that young woman in your ear just says, "You could always just ask me, you know."
All right, I think it's this lock of hair for me.
Fine, be that way.
Is it a member of your? Is it yours? Is it a member of your family's? How? How do you know?
I don't know. Got this strange feeling when I grabbed it.
I suppose that is to be expected.
Do I scare you, Dagmar?
I'm not sure this is really happening. Who are you?
There's the ticket. My name's Dahlia. Dahlia Douglas, actually.
Of course.
Dagmar?
You okay?
Yeah. It's from somebody called Dahlia Douglas.
Ah,
So,
related
yeah.
to the Lord.
Yes. So it would seem.
Dagmar, while it looks quite fetching on you, perhaps you should remove that lovely crown that you are wearing. Maya and I, we saw it in the other room that we passed, and it seemed a little dangerous there.
It seems all right to me. Honestly, I think I'm supposed to wear this.
Yes.
It wants you to. Do not listen to it.
Don't listen to her. Stupid little girl.
Of all of us, Dagmar, Maya has never steered us wrong. You may not wish to listen to me, but she has wisdom in these matters.
Well, here's the thing, though. My name is Dagmar van Govestens, and I'm the daughter of Count Douwe Siersma van Govestens and Princess Anne Douglas of the Netherlands. And I'm pretty sure this crown might be meant for me.
Dagmar, that seems all the more reason to perhaps be wary of it. We have seen what the Douglas family has done here. This legacy that man kept telling you about.
Oh, I have. And I'm gonna kill my family. Now, can we move on?
We might want to back up like a hair, just a hair. No pun intended with the. Anyway, you're gonna do what again? By the way, what?
I'm gonna kill every single person who was part of this ridiculous scheme, if that's what you can call it. Now, Johan, please stick your hand in the pool and find your item.
No one else is gonna put a Astrid? You don't want to like touch on any of that? Like even a little bit?
I think perhaps we are all in need of some rest on dry land, and then we can discuss all these things, of course.
They're all afraid. They're all so afraid. How can you stand to hear their bleating?
Shut up.
Oh, you shut up. You know what? I've been
takes
waiting
off the
for
crown.
Okay. Well, you see, that's not going to help, sweetie. I'm here for good now. And I am so excited to see what you're going to do.
You've taken off the crown. That's excellent.
Progress. Mm-hmm.
She sticks the crown in her pouch, though. She keeps it.
Well, I was gonna choose the red one because I like red and red's cool. But like none of this means anything to me, honestly. So at the sake of something else bad happening, maybe we should just go, you know?
Yes. You're right, we should not linger.
Also, Astrid said I was right putting that one in my pocket. Yeah, we should move. We should definitely move. Let's go, Granny.
Understood. You make your way once again back out towards the docks. And as you do so, you see Fulminare stood there waiting for you. As you come back out, he nods in acknowledgement. Are you all done here?
Oh, wait. And Dagmar goes to look for the dagger she threw.
You threw it into the water.
Damn it.
The merman looks at you for a moment, looks into the water where it is, and just says, unfortunate that I cannot retrieve that for you.
All right. Goes to show.
Metal, you see, I'm not the biggest fan. Specifically steel. If you're all satisfied.
Yes, please, if you are... I do not know if you can take us to a specific place or simply to the nearest patch of land, but Alice's last words to me were to find the abbey at outside of Stockholm. If you could help us make our way there, however close, we would be very grateful.
I can provide you with passage for a short journey to the mainland. I believe it's now known as Vreta Abbey, the structure that sits upon the rocks opposite this place. I will send you there. From there, it is up to you.
Many thanks.
Fulminare turns away from you all and extends his hand towards the oceans, making a beckoning motion with his fingers. As he does so, a creaking noise begins to sound from beneath the waves, like old metal being dislodged and disturbed. Then, rising from beneath the ocean surface, you see a tall structure begin to emerge. Like a tree, but instead of branches, it has another trunk led crossways, hung with a swath of waterlogged, partially eaten canvas. A mast, a mizzenmast, followed by a mainmast, the foremast, a wheel upon the aft, a bowsprit and a fore, and then the deck of the midship, out of which water spills up and over the sides as it rises from its watery grave. Barnacles and other elements of the ocean's flora and fauna cling to its sides, and its sails are tattered and wrecked, but it floats. And it remains floating. Slowly, Fulminare guides it until it comes to a careful stop at one of the piers. And then he turns back to you. This ship no longer has a name, but in some ways it still has a crew. It can take you a short distance.
Johan, you were a sailor at one point, were you not?
I dabbled in the seas a little bit.
If you would do the honors, lead on.
All right, I got this. I will take us where we can go with this lovely, lovely vessel we have here.
As you all climb aboard. The ship is waterlogged and creaky. Whilst it takes your weight, you can't help but wonder what magic is giving it false life, especially as you begin to look around to see that many of the most destructive holes that must have initially caused the downfall of the ship have been healed over like scabs by swaths of thick underwater plants. Wandering around on deck, paying you no mind, are translucent figures. They move slowly and with purpose. And none of them seem to be able to see you. Too focused are they on their tasks of hoisting a sail that no longer exists, steering a rudder that is only half intact. It doesn't seem to impede the ship that most of it is missing. Once the last of you steps aboard, the great decaying hulk of this thing pulls away from the docks with ease and pulls out of the cove. As you go, you see Fulminare watch you leave. He waves once and then dives back under the water and is gone from view.
Well, there's a lot of weird stuff happening here. Maya, you got your, also you're looking a lot taller these days. I'm not sure if it's just me, if I'm tripping, or if I stared at Dagmar's crown too long, but have you noticed anything going on here as, trying to pilot this little thing here?
I do not believe we need to question the energies that swarm around us right now. I think we just need to trust in its journey.
Fair enough.
You will find yourselves with perhaps an hour or so of uninterrupted journeying back to the mainland. The ship is slow. It moves with the speed of a corpse dragging itself along the floor. Slow and deliberate, but it has purpose. Dagmar, what are you doing on this voyage?
Dagmar has kind of secluded herself to like a more quiet spot on the ship, away from, well, basically everyone, and would like to, if nobody's listening, try to talk to whatever is now with her.
As soon as you actively turn your attention towards this being and attempt to make contact, rather than it trying to force its way through, you feel those hands once again creep over your shoulders. I'm right here.
All right. So, I guess we're family.
Correct.
What is this? How are you with me? What is happening?
You were a great deal of help. I was stuck on that trifling little island. And then your friend, the one connected to the earth, picked up my crown. But she wasn't quite right. No, I needed someone of the blood. Though she was useful because she led me to you. And, we have a connection now.
What is it that you want?
I just want to help you.
Why?
Because you have potential.
For what?
For greatness, darling. Greatness. Our lineage has every right to be great. So many have squandered it You won't. And I'm here to help.
And what happens if I do something that doesn't align with your interests?
Ooh. Well, we'll see if you do anything of the sort, shall we? You've not done anything yet.
Well, then I guess we shall.
I can foresee this being a great partnership. Either way, thanks for the ride.
And like Dagmar tries to disconnect, like push it out, like starts staring at the ocean.
Roll me a logic or an empathy test.
Empathy. Damn it. No successes. The rolls are not with me today.
No, surely not. You watch as you blink and stare at the ocean and blink again, and in between those two blinks, you're back in that banquet hall. You have the knife in your hand. You're stabbing and stabbing into the heart of this silver-haired girl. You're reaching into her chest. You're grabbing at her heart. And you feel the hot rush of blood dribble down your chin and hiss as it hits the floor as you take a bite. And as the vision fades and you're left once again staring out at the ocean, you hear, "How fun." And the presence retreats.
Oh, fuck. And I guess that's the extent of what she does.
Okay. Moving on. Johan. What is it that you would like to do during this time?
I'm going to spend the better half of my time training for about an hour because you never know what could happen.
Understood. You begin sparring on the deck of the ship. You are very used to movement across the deck of the ship, and perhaps getting back into that motion once again, keeping your knees slightly bent, rolling with the motion of it, feeling the waves guide your steps. You're feeling very confident. And then you see one of the apparitions with a spectral blade in its hand step up into the on guard position opposite you, and it gives you a large bow and brings up its sword.
Now you are speaking my language. Let's go. Don't need mine for this conversation.
Roll me your, let's see, physique and close combat, please.
All right. One success.
As you both spar back and forth, it's odd. As you're trading blows, they feel completely non-corporeal until their blade touches yours. And then you can feel that familiar reverberation of a force hitting your blade that sort of rattles in your bones. This individual never speaks. They never say anything. But you can see them enjoying this. You can see them sort of laughing and trading jokes with you that you can't hear as you spar. And it is here that you spend the majority of the voyage, trading a very mutual array of blows with this individual.
I don't know why Dagmar and Astra just don't do this. This is great.
Uki. Apologies, who's that? Maya. What is it that you are doing on this voyage?
I like to take a leisurely stroll investigating the boat itself. Perhaps slowly making my way to Dagmar.
Understood. Are you investigating things beyond the mortal ken or within that realm?
Beyond.
Understood. Your observation and empathy for me, please, Maya.
One success.
One success. As you walk around, you note how everything on this vessel has been here for a very, very long time. As you traverse this place, you see the odd, calcified body of one of the sailors that used to man the vessel, led in various portions of the boat. Just where they ever ended up, they seem peaceful, and the spectres that man the vessel seem to pay them no mind as they go about their day. As you move around, you happen to enter the captain's cabin. It's a huge sort of oaken desk that's been cloven in half by a massive impact that has collapsed it in the very middle. There are cabinets that have been nailed into the walls that have long since sort of collapsed into themselves. And as you're investigating, you happen to open one of the desk drawers of this piece of furniture. And you find a decaying leather bag. When you pick it up, something inside jingles.
May I open the bag?
No. As you open it up, you see odd coins. Coins of very different design. I would like you to roll me a logic and learning test, please, Maya.
No successes.
Unfortunately, you're not sure what these are, but they are very odd, intricate symbols.
Perhaps Astrid may know. Astrid seems to know their shiny items of small, spherical nature.
Right.
May I take the bag and
You may.
possibly change my course to go and visit Astrid instead?
You may indeed. Before we see to that scene, Astrid, before Maya reaches you, what are you occupying yourself with?
For the initial maybe 5-10 minutes of the journey, as the ship slowly crawls out of the cove, Astrid is on deck, keeping an eye, looking around, making sure that we are in fact leaving. And once that's been done, we are underway. The ship itself intrigues them. They're much more used to land travel than boat travel, and so Astrid will wander down into the bowels of this vessel, and especially these patches of plant, so this intersection of seafaring man-made vessel and reclaimed by nature portions. So she wants to look around and get a feel for the ship, and also take a look at these interesting plants.
I will ask you to make me a logic and learning test, please, Astrid.
One success.
One success. Upon investigating, you notice that everything on this ship has its place in an odd tapestry of life and death melted into one. All the people here, the spectres, you can assign them each a body as you go around the ship. The amount of spectres lines up to the amount of bodies, that checks out. But apart from the death, these plants are very much alive. Most of them are water lilies, the leaves of which intersect and form panels, some of which are shredded and interwoven in interesting sort of tapestry-like design, but some of which are just simple lily pads that have been placed over various puncture holes. And as you go and sort of flick at the sides of one of them, sort of peel it back ever so slightly to see what may lay beneath or how it may be adhered, it doesn't want to move. And you note how the reason it isn't moving is because it's grown directly out from the boat, as though the boat itself has grown these things.
What a fascinating vessel. As Astrid explores and pokes and prods at all this, part of her wandering is to try to find Dagmar.
Okay. Before you get to Dagmar, you see Maya making her way towards you.
Ah, Maya, my friend. Are you enjoying our gentle sea journey?
It really does have such sights, doesn't it? But I digress. I took a wander, and then my feet stepped one in front of the other, and I somehow ended up in the... I am sure what it would be called, but it was a room with a desk in the middle. Quite a desk that isn't quite so, how one would say, newly carved. But within a drawer, it's almost like my fingertips wanted to find something. And within, I found this. And with this, Maya opens up the bag to show to Astrid. You seem well versed in items such as these, are you not?
I have seen much coinage. Yes, I have traveled much and seen many of these. Let me take a closer look to see if I have seen these in my travels.
Logic and learning, please, Astrid.
One success.
One success. As you ruminate on these coins, you can't help but notice the way the symbols have been created upon the coins themselves. They've been engraved. It seems to be engraved in some sort of rudimentary fashion, maybe with a hot knife of some sort, picking out the individual details on this wafer-thin bit of metal in your palm. What's interesting about them is you recognize every single symbol as a different smuggling group. Some of which you're not so sure on, you've only read about. One or two of which you've had direct interactions with.
This is most curious. This... Maya, I think perhaps that this fine ship we find ourselves upon is or was, one that was no stranger to secrets and subterfuge. Would it be all right if I kept these coins, Maya?
You may. I have no use for them.
Many thanks. I've never seen all of these in one place. Each one is a different group. Thank you, Maya, for bringing these to me.
You're welcome.
I beg your pardon. Have you seen Dagmar anywhere? I wish to speak with her a moment.
I was surprisingly... Our path seems to be on the same way, as I was also about to try and find Dagmar. However, it seems that my toes led me to these instead. Should we go look for her? Or would you prefer to venture alone?
You go ahead. I will, perhaps one of us should make sure that Johan is not picking a fight with the ghosts.
Could you imagine such a thing? Yeah, I do not think he would do something so preposterous.
No. But no, please, you carry on. I will find Dagmar in a moment.
Okay. Maya, you go ahead and make your way towards Dagmar. After a bit of searching, you are able to find her sort of sequestered away in one of the more hidden rooms at the back of the ship.
Dagmar?
Oh, hi.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure, to be entirely honest.
I had such feelings that you might not be such of yourself. May I sit beside you?
All right.
Maya tiptoes cautiously to sit next to Dagmar. You know, I have grown very close to you, Dagmar. I see you in such warm light. I truly am sorry for being so stubborn in the old ways. But the books and the walls back at the castle, goodness, even my past has taught me that there are certain things that do not budge. And I should have also seen that to be from a fellow being.
That's all right, Maya. I mean, none of this is your fault. None of us could have seen this coming. I know I sure as hell didn't. All we gotta do now is move forward. And for what it's worth, I'm glad that you're around. And that you're my friend.
Same to you, Dagmar. Is there... I mean, you're sat alone over here. Is there anything I can help shed from your mind? Would you like to talk about anything? Sometimes the weight that sits upon our shoulders can be quite overbearing. Sometimes the burden can be shared.
No, it's fine. Thank you, though.
I understand. I truly do. In your own time, if you ever, should you ever, require another ear, I am always listening, whether it be the world around us. It is open to you.
Thank you. I just need some time.
As you both sit, keeping each other company, we will cut away to Astrid and to Johan. Astrid, you come up to the top deck to find a most intriguing sight. You find Johan in the middle of a sparring match with a quiet spectre. They appear to be laughing and joking and sharing quips, except only Johan is making any audible quips. The spectre seems to be completely non-verbally communicating.
Do it! That was a good one. Hell yeah! Woo! Hey, what's up, Astrid? Hey, hi. What's up?
I see you have found someone with which to train. It's wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. These guys are great. Oh my goodness. What's up?
Just seeing how you're holding up on this ship full of ghosts. I suppose they have had much time to hone their craft. I hope they are proving worthy adversaries.
Oh yeah, they're not bad. Probably a little rust around the edges. No, I'm kidding. Okay, you're great. You're great. These great guys out here. But what's up? How's it going?
If you can believe it, I have not, for all my travels, been very often on a ship of this size. I was admiring it quite a bit. Did you sail often on these?
Oh yeah, spent more time on the water than I care to admit. But it's been nice. Feels like I'm, almost back at home in a sense. So it's been nice getting back at it and, getting my sea legs going and whatnot.
Sea legs. Huh. Yes, I've heard of these. Johan, what brought you to Castle Gillenkreuz then? If you were so happy on the water and with your sailing, I'm surprised that you ever left it.
Honestly, it was quite the journey. So as we had talked about beforehand with bug-eyed, fish face guy, which turned out to be a great person, by the way. Wow, had no idea that person saved me, because we actually, my ship went under, like big, cracking, crazy nuts, like absolutely insane. And I had no idea he saved me. So that was very eye-opening. But what ended up happening was I actually ended up going back and trying to relay what happened to everyone. And literally everyone thought I had lost my mind. And honestly, after a while, I kind of started feeling like I did lose my mind for a second there, but you really can't make something like that up, there's no amount of imagination that can split a ship in half. I'll tell you. Yeah, one thing led to another. I met up with a nice chap, and they led me in this direction because they kind of made me feel less crazy. And when I ended up going to, the society with like-minded people, because honestly, I just want to help people. That's what I've always wanted to do. And doing it this way, which is actually a lot better of a path for me, because it's not so strict. When you're in the Army, or just the Navy, you have to do exactly what you're told at all times, whether you like it or not. So having the freedom to kind of do things in my own way has been super nice. And I make a lot of good friends like you. Yeah, you little stick in the mud, you. Yeah, you're great.
Johan, I am sorry that you had to leave that life behind, but I'm happy to hear that you have found new purpose with us, and certainly we could not have made it off of that island without you.
Honestly, I think getting off of that island took a little bit of everyone. And I said it once before and I'll say it again. The power of friendship has literally led us from start to finish on this entire journey. And then I started thinking about it because, the ship doesn't have a name, like power of friendship. You get it? You get it, right? Tell me you get it. Because I think we should coin that. Like that,
Yes.
yes.
I get it, Johan.
All right, perfect. So we're going with that, right?
Johan, if that is the name you choose, certainly.
Let's go. All right, perfect. Friendship it is.
The Spectre who you've been sparring with kind of gives you a look for a second, then nods, puts their blade away, and heads towards the prow of the ship where a slightly fancier Spectre has stood, and just begins sort of conversing with them.
Oh yeah, same time. Yeah, next time. I got you. Yeah, tell your friend too. It's gonna be a great thing. Anyway, Astrid, so what are you up to?
Just exploring this ship. I've learned quite a bit of over the past. Has it only been 2 days? And it seems there is yet more to discover. And I must admit, I feel a great weight lifting off as we leave. Maya was right. We have all changed, but I think also grown. Yes, and perhaps there is a little something to this friendship of yours, Johan.
I'm glad you see things my way. Hell yeah.
Now, I beg your pardon. Thank you for the illuminating conversation. It is good to talk.
Absolutely. It's been kind of nice when things aren't trying to kill us 24/7. You know, it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, so let's perhaps not get used to it quite yet, but this is a good respite.
You know what? You're 100% right. Hey, yeah, bring your friend this time. Yeah. You know what? We'll put a pin in that. All right. Yeah.
Please carry on, Johan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Spectre sort of comes back, and you see a more dashing entity wearing a large hat with many feathers sort of adorning it. And as they come up to you, they turn to this other gentleman and sort of nod. And they go about their duties. And then this very grandiose figure sort of flicks their coat out, draws a very fine-looking rapier, and once again does the on-guard position.
All right. Fancy, but your fanciness is no good here. Let's go.
And once again, you begin to spar. And we will leave that scene briefly, as all of you sort of come together on the deck of the ship, seeing the mainland little more than a speck in the distance, approaching ever so slowly, bit by bit. And it's as you see this land begin to take form once again through the light mist that is treading its way across the waterfront, that you hear a familiar caw and the flap of wings as a raven does 3 loops around the ship and then flies down and lands on Maya's shoulder with a jubilant cawing sound.
It seems your friend is here to greet us.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Hello there.
Ingeborg sort of hops from foot to foot and nuzzles his head into yours, Maya.
Friend. Do you know any secrets of what lies ahead?
Sort of takes a step to the right, gives you a look, caws again, ever so slightly this time, and then leaps up into the air once more and flies on ahead of you. As you watch him go, the ship slides safely into dock at the mainland. Beside you, on the pier, you can see another ship as it lines up. A huge, sort of good-sized vessel with a lantern hung from its prow that is blazing with a flickering gas lantern light. As you reach the piers and slide to a stop, you hear the familiar caw of Ingeborg as he loops once again around the ship and then flies towards the docks and lands next to two figures standing in the courtyard between the harbour master's hut and the graveyard surrounding Vreta Abbey. Apparently in the midst of an intensive conversation, one of them seems to be holding a map and gesticulating at it frantically. And as Ingebjorn takes off and flies towards them, it lands on the shoulder of a feminine figure, sort of yelps in surprise, laughing it off, and then strokes Ingebjorn's feathers.
Perhaps this is our next step.
Who are they?
Perhaps.
From this distance, I am not sure I can tell.
Upon getting a little closer, some things begin to click into place, especially as they both turn around to face you, apparently looking a little shocked at the vessel they hadn't seen approaching. That threadbare coat and worried expression of a young, dark-skinned man, shock of silver hair and ratty dress of a deathly pale feminine figure. Stood on the docks, waiting for you, are Jason Kelly and Linnea Elfclint, two fellows of your society, and the only remaining members of the Uppsala chapter. They both look so relieved as they see you all coming down the prow of the ship. There you are! Jason sort of puts the map away. Great! Oh, good. We were just going to come to the island. I saw the lighthouse.
Best perhaps not to go. We have just come from there. Yes.
Oh, I mean, I assumed because you've flashed the lighthouse, I assumed that was the signal for needing aid. That's what Alice sometimes used when she required assistance from us.
We did, but
Okay. Are you all right? You were supposed to be. You were supposed to be meeting her there and then going on ahead. We were to meet you at the safe house. Why are you back here?
I am Jason. I must tell you, the island is now a graveyard.
Oh,
there is no one alive there now.
Oh no. And he sort of sighs. There's a very real look of heartbreak on his face, and Linnea sort of steps up and strokes his arms comfortingly. He liked her. It's all right, dear. Now, I'm just glad you're all right. But we must make haste from this place.
Yes, absolutely.
Ingebjorn here let me know that you all might need some assistance. And, well, when Jason saw the lighthouse, we were concerned. So, here we are. Although, it must needs be remarked that when in public, please refer to Jason as Knight. You can still refer to me by my given name. I have my own protections in place, but Detective Knight here requires an alias, and I suggest you all begin thinking of one too.
So if they're night, can I be day, or does it find another name to balance that out? Okay.
Can if you wish, my dear.
Okay. Well, I'll pocket that one. Okay, cool.
All right. Jason sort of chuckles in spite of himself. It's good to see you, Johan.
Missed you, buddy.
Yeah, you too. As the group of you sort of move away from this place, Linnea and Teddy fill you in on the ups and downs of what's been happening. Castle Gillenkreuz is compromised. It is pretty much just a ruin now. And they're not sure what they can do about that particularly. Linnea mentions how she will be going directly back to Uppsala to see what she can do. I've actually found it a little safer there for me, particularly given they think I'm stark raving mad. I actually have a room in the asylum. I've managed to use some society funds to gussy it up so it's not quite as derelict. But they do think I'm crazy, so as long as they think that, I think I'll be safe to keep an eye on the place for you.
Are you certain?
Yes. I have some tricks up my sleeve, Astrid. I'm not just a... I think you might understand that old ladies like ourselves have certain ways and means, you know? As for the rest of you, we have a great deal of journeying to do. Knight, please, make sure they get there safely. Just all of you, whatever happens next, it's been a pleasure. She sort of goes around each of you in turn, sort of, whatever you're comfortable with affection-wise, she will reciprocate before she begins to make her way away from you all, leaving you with Detective Knight, who sort of ushers you all to a nearby carriage.
As we approach, Astrid hangs back a little and tries to get Dagmar's attention.
Easy enough.
Dagmar,
Astrid?
I cannot pretend to know how you feel about everything that has happened, but I thought perhaps I should offer, as it is in a way yours. Would you like this knife? Or would you prefer not to have it? And Astrid, sort of out of her pocket, slides out, just barely visible, the knife with which Dagmar was almost stabbed.
You know what? Yeah, I'll take it.
Certainly.
Thanks.
Certainly you can make better use of it than I can.
Pretty sure I can. Thank you, Astrid. And thank you for what you did back there.
Of course. And Astrid strides ahead to rejoin the front of the group.
The man once known as Jason Kelly, now known as Detective Thaddeus Knight, or Teddy, as he keeps insisting, is anxious to know everything that has happened to you all. He inquires after Alice, how she died, what happened, but quickly realizes that probably he can't face hearing about that right now, and forcing himself to remain on the business of travel. A day or so of oceanic voyaging later, you arrive in the county of Stockholm and are bundled into a carriage again, eventually arriving at a white and brown four-spired building known as Skockloster Castle. It is a beautiful, imposing building, surrounded on all sides by trees whose leaves are reddish-brown as though in the midst of being consumed by hungry flames. Once inside, you're ushered into a plush lounge complete with a roaring fire, alcohol, a spread of decadent food, and luscious crimson velvet that makes up the windows and comfortable seating. Teddy invites everyone to sit around the table, reassuring you all that the head of the Rangel family will be joining you all later. After some food and drink is had, Teddy invites you all to join him in a toast as he stands. Our departure from Uppsala has been fraught, to say the least, but we're here. We've made it. Does anyone have anything they'd like to say? I suppose this is kind of a ceremonial thing now.
You know what? There is something I want to say.
By all means, Johan, you have the floor.
We've started this journey on some really, really rocky terrain. We've been through our ups and our downs, but at the end of the day, the power of friendship and our actual ship name friendship has brought us through. So I appreciate you guys, and let our friendship guide the way.
Our friendship.
Dagmar, anything from you?
For those we've lost.
To those we've lost.
Lost.
Astrid?
To all of you, all of us, together, we are a new family.
And Maya.
For once, I do not hear or know what to say. I have spent many moons in the shadows, wandering through the corridors of life alone. And yet this journey has had such hardships, so much learning of being a fellow being to one another. We have fought, we have laughed, and most of all, we have somehow figured out the winding path before us. With the pain in our hearts, I'm sure time will mend. And I do not believe this will be the final journey together. The path remains open. We just need to make the choices.
So that. Well, to the lost, to the found, and more of that, to the new chapter. Let it begin. As he raises his cup and you all drink with him, you feel a resolve settle in your chest. Things are not as they were. But also, things are, in some ways, clearer than they were. Some questions answered, some opened up. Either way, there's a lot left to do. And that, dear friends, is where we will leave our Thursday's children. However, as we pull back from them, we fly on the wing of our familiar raven friend as he soars on the wind, guarding the Skokloster house. We fly past him, counties away from here and further north, where we see another grand estate, even grander than the one we have just left. Within its walls, we see a study. Stood in front of a fireplace is a tall figure in a beautifully tailored suit, stopwatch in hand. They check the time every few seconds. As they do so, suddenly, a figure steps up beside them out of a pool of nearby shadow. Her brunette curls lay heavy about her shoulders, and her white dress makes a quiet, whispering noise as it brushes past the plush carpet. She joins the individual in staring into the fitfully dancing firelight, and this individual smiles and puts the watch away. Dahlia, is it time? It is, the brunette girl replies. The two share a loaded look before turning back to the fireplace and watching with dutiful steadfastness as the flames sputter and flicker and begin to burn a bright blue. And that, truly, is where Season 1 of Dark Tides ends, with the water having fully risen. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this adventure. It truly has been a wild ride. Thank you especially to each and every one of my cast who have made this story what it is. They are all fantastically talented and incredible performers who I could not have been more blessed to work with, frankly. They have taken this story and made it what it is. So, please give a big hand to them. I will now go around each and every single one of them and let them introduce themselves to you. I have, of course, been Gabriel, your game master for the evening. You may find me at Good and Chaotic, various places all around the internet, on Twitter and on TikTok if you're brave enough. But enough about me. Dagmar, who are you in the real life?
In the real life, I am Zara Zodiac. I have been the harbor of bad decisions, Dagmar. And you can find me here on Twitch or basically anywhere else under the name Zara Zodiac. I play a lot of Oblivion, but basically I'll play any game you can imagine because I made a promise to play every single game that I own, which is a bad idea, and I named it, and that makes it better. So come on over, come say hi, and I swear I'll make more bad decisions.
Johan.
What's going on, guys? I'm Superman Anthony, and that's me everywhere, literally everywhere, except on Twitter. There's one person that has Superman Anthony, so I have to have one. It's a dead account. Not the point. The point is, I do a lot of anime and variety video games. If you want to come hang out, you know where to find me.
Fabulous. Astrid?
I'm Dinsdale. I have been Astrid, your resident voice of reason. I normally can be found on Twitch playing all sorts of different games, all kinds of different games, and occasionally even doing a bit of model making and nail painting and that sort of thing. But overall, just a cozy community where we value education and learn some Armenian along the way.
And Maya.
Oh, hi. I am Maya, the curiously never making sense lady. Outside of that, I'm Mizuki. Hello. I am the lady of chaos, actually. I am big noises, lots of flailing, chaotic Welsh noises. You can find me all over the place with Mizuki. I play a lot of horror games and recently starting to venture into the land of art because panic and paint goes together very well.
And just to hand out some more thank yous, we have our fantastic co-writer and friend of the show and hype person and just overall human who is awesome, Lily. We have Southpaw, who does the incredible designs and the trailers and everything else for this. We have Valen Vane behind the scenes making everything look pretty and putting up our faces and doing the focus screens and being artsy and all that. We love you, Valen. Thank you. We also have Harry, who is a hype individual as well. Thank you, Harry. And we also have Goldie and LSP, who've done various voice shenanigans for us, helping truly bring this story to life. There has been an incredible team behind the scenes the entire way, and honestly, when I pitched this to Adventure Tavern, my mind is blown to the lengths to which everyone has gone to let me tell this ridiculous little story. So thank you genuinely from the bottom of my heart, everybody who is watching and who has helped, and just, you're all amazing. And yeah, cool. So that's it for the thank yous. On to the what's next bit of this segment, I guess. This isn't the last you'll be hearing from us. After this, we will probably be in and around various places around the internet. I myself have a few projects coming up that you can catch, but if you're missing Dark Tide Rising Waters, we will be here again next week for the roundtable where we'll be discussing when and where these guys have messed up my plans, what their favorite elements of the story were, what beats they picked up on, and just various keenings about the show. So if you have any questions or you have any various yellings you want to do at any of our lovely cast, or even the wonderful Lily, who will be joining us at Lily the GM, you can bimble along here and just yell in the comments and we'll figure out some sort of answer. It may even be right. Who knows? Other than that, we have Daybreak City Nights finale this Saturday, 7 p.m. BST or 2 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out. Commander this Sunday, 7 p.m. BST or 2 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget to check out YouTube for all our shows. We will have a big old playlist of all these shenanigans of these beautiful people working their way through stories and stuff. So yeah, come hang out. We will be around, I promise. We're not leaving just because this current story, this little chapter, is wrapping up for the evening. But yeah, I should let you all go. You all have evenings to get on with /days/time zones. Thank you so much again. I love you all. Stay safe, stay spooky, and we will see you all next week for the final time for season 1.